Hello everyone. I believe you can see my screen. Please stop me if you cannot see my screen. You can see my screen, right? It's a presentation screen.
Yeah,
Thank you for the confirmation. Okay. So our topic for this week is construction engineering. So simply the construction engineering, it deals with the topics of the activities that we deal in the construction activities day to day. So, what we do in construction is allocation of resources, daily planning of resources, and not only that, management of material, manpower, and money. In addition to that, we have to schedule the activities and we have to check the cost budget if we are exceeding the budget or if we are lying under the budget. So, it is simply all the terms and terminology that we use in construction engineering, and the phenomenon or the procedure that we use at the site. It includes all kinds of work procedures and documental stuff, and not only that, also the administration structure, like who is head of that particular organization, or so usually owner is head of the organization, right? So this subject covers all these topics, and interestingly, we just got only 2 pages within the handbook for this particular subject. Page numbered, as I said in this particular slide, 310, 311. Let's run to the handbook too. So I just want to give you a heads up that this is the subject which is having least number of pages in handbook. But this subject got good weightage. 8 to 12 questions is approximately like 6 to 10 percentage of your overall exam. So out of 2 pages, you may be getting 4 to 5 questions. So if you focus on the handbook for just these 2 pages with a direct formula, you're gonna get 4 to 5 questions easily answered. And with your basic knowledge, with our basic knowledge, like kind of calculating volumes for the concrete and calculating volume for asphalt. Not only that, the area of subgrade compaction, subbase compaction, and sometimes we will be asked to calculate the amount of workers required. So that is all basic knowledge. The formulas for this volume calculation or area calculation is nowhere mentioned within the handbook. But considering our fundamentals into accounts, we will be posed such questions. And this is one good reason that if you qualify for your FE exam, you will be given these kinds of job. Or this is one reason why you will be asked to clear your FE exam if they are looking for such kind of jobs. And coming to the topics of construction engineering, these are the 5 topics that we're going to encounter. Whereas the first one, it deals with administration, the documents. I recently shared a PDF to you within the WhatsApp group. So the theory related to the document is nowhere related, or nowhere nowhere written in the handbook. But please go through the PDF which I gave to you. Need not to by heart. You need to understand. That's it. What exactly is the meaning of each and every term? If you understand it, and if you encounter any question within the exam, it will be easier for you to address it or answer it. That's how it is. And coming to management, it is the structure of the management, how it goes from owner till subcontractor or fabricator. We're going to discuss that thing in detail as well. And coming to procurement and project delivery methods, these two things, procurement and project delivery methods, they look like similar. While coming to the application, it varies. Procurement is where owner hires a subcontractor or a general contractor. It's not subcontractor. Owner hires a general contractor. Whereas project delivery method is a type of method what contractor gives to the owner. Okay, for example, procurement means owner is hiring a general contractor, be it by any means, by bidding method or by selected general contractor method. Whereas project delivery method is how the project is delivered to the client. If it is a design bid build project, or if it is a lump sum project, or if it is a design build project. So this is how the project delivery method is varying. Similarly, the procurement as well. We're going to discuss these topics in detail. Coming to construction, operation, and methods, majorly this is related to the machinery. What kind of machinery, as a contractor, you have to choose, which is cost efficient for you. Coming to project controls, this is the most weighted topic within this subject, and the formulas are directly given in the handbook. For this one, and value, scheduling, and allocation of resources, along with activity relationships. Coming to activity relationships, we're going to discuss one big problem within this class. It will give you the overall idea how the activity relationships have to be understood. And construction estimating, it is related to the cost aspect. So for this fundamentals of engineering exam, construction estimation will be very simple for you. So the formulas for the construction estimation is nowhere given, but you will be given certain amount of quantity of work that has to be done on the site, and you will be given the unit price for that particular amount of work. Accordingly, you have to calculate it. It's like a basic multiplication. So if you understand the question, then you will be able to answer it. If not, it will be a hard task, but most probably it will be in the easy language and you will be able to do that. Coming to interpretation of engineering drawings, upon checking the previous papers and all, so it is apparent that you will be asking questions related to either top view, plans, and front view. If not, some descriptions like what is the type of steel or the diameter of steel used in the construction by giving a certain drawing. So we're going to discuss all these aspects within this subject. Now, let us move to the handbook so that um, you will understand what exactly in it. So, as I said, the pages, it is 310, 311, but here it shows 316. Why? Because you got 6 other pages extra in the front. So go to the pages 310 and 311. Here it is the relationships or the relationship in between the activities that you follow in your CPM method. So basically, we'll be asked question related to CPM. You need not to focus much about the method
Excuse
called
me.
but yes,
Uh, you showing the handbook?
yes, you cannot see
Uh,
it.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. And now can you see the handbook?
Yes.
All right. Thanks for the confirmation. So this is the representation of the activity concept within the CPM method. So start to start, finish to finish, and finish to start. All these activities or all these things will be discussed in detail. And these are the formulas for early start, early finish. If you look at the formulas now, they may seem confusing for you, but when we jump to the problem, it will be pretty easier for you to understand. End value analysis. Also, this seems to be confusing, but if I give you a practical example, then you will come to understand. When we jump to the numbers concept within the end value analysis, then it will be easier for you. You will feel like, oh, is it this simple for this? Variances. So variances is another term given for end value analysis or for the indices. If you understand variances, then indices is piece of cake for you. Like both are interlinked. The concept of variances and indices, they are interlinked. So forecasting is underrated concept, but if you will be given a question related to forecasting, it will be a direct question. Like they will give you the they will give you all the existing values and will be calculating the end value. So as I said, these two are the only pages related to the construction engineering. All other questions, whatever you see in the subject of construction engineering, it will be mostly related to the fundamental knowledge that you have already. It's like calculation of areas. What is the formula of calculation of a rectangle area is length into breadth. If not, in order to calculate the volume, it is length into breadth into height. And if it is a trapezoidal section, you have to calculate accordingly. If it is a cylindrical section, you have to calculate accordingly. That's the concept or that's the thing underlying for this subject. Now I'm taking you to the presentation once again. You can see my presentation screen, right?
Yes.
No.
Now?
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
We can
yeah,
All
see
yeah,
right.
you.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Thanks. All right. Okay. So coming to administration, so this is the basic administration structure. Just give it 10 seconds to understand it, and we will discuss it. I hope everyone gone through this. So it is not sure, or it is not 100% that we may require all these parties within a project. So there will be certain projects where owner may not require an engineer or a special inspector for the project, like a design build project. So if small projects like I'm a owner for a small house, I would like to build a house for myself where I cannot afford an engineer, or where I cannot afford a special inspector who can design a building for me. So what I do is I will hire a contractor who can build or who can design the building by himself and construct by himself. So I will give him the overall package in order to do that particular building. So that is what I mean to say, which is called as a design build project. We don't require a person called engineer in that particular project. So, and for some particular projects, we don't require special inspector. Why? Because if it is a small scale project, or if it is a single scope project, like it is simply paving, when it is a concept of simple paving, so you may go for engineer for design, and you may go for a contractor to build, to undertake the project. But you don't need a special inspector. Why? Because there is no special activity. You will go with engineer, and engineer himself he gonna inspect the site along with his sub consultant. So there will be certain projects where you may not require all these parties in your construction projects, but so this is the general representation. And if you see here, the subcontractor, he is not directly liable to owner. So if subcontractor has to discuss something, he will first jump to the contractor. He cannot jump to the owner by bypassing the contractor. So everyone has to follow the concept of protocol, or it is also represented by the word called chain of command within the site. So subcontractor cannot bypass contractor, and he cannot jump to the owner. Similarly, engineer, he doesn't have a right or a responsibility to directly command contractor. So whatever the work that is done on site, that is subjected to the contractor's means and methods. It is called as M&M, said by means and methods. So, however, a work is done at site, that is subjected to contractors' means and methods. For example, you got concrete to site as a contractor, and let us suppose the slump of the concrete is very minimum. So, right? Let us suppose the slump of the concrete is very minimum. So, it is barely 1 inch. Okay. After engineer noticing it, he may advise contractor to put some water within the concrete. For that, the workability of concrete will be more, and it will be easier for contractor to get the task done. But engineer is not liable to advise contractor to put water in it. Why? Because later on contractor may jump on engineer, saying that engineer advised him to do put water in the concrete, and hence he did it. So here, what I mean to say is that engineer is no way liable or no way responsible for the means and methods that contractor follows at site. He is just liable, or he is just responsible to monitor the work. And if it is not happening in a right way, then that is the point where he can withhold the work. He can inform the contractor, but he cannot withhold the work. He cannot withhold, or he don't have a right to withhold the work happening on the site. Okay. And whereas special inspector, he comes to the site to check a specific activity like a steel or a foundation work for he is assigned. So that is how it is. Um, with respect to the structure here, what I gave to you, I believe you can answer this question. In a project, an engineer is obligated to. It means an engineer is liable to or responsible to. To whom an engineer is responsible to? Is
Owner.
answerable to only what did you say? Owner?
Yes.
Yes, he is answerable only to owner. Though he will be having the close communication with all the other parties, general contractor or subcontractor or whomsoever, but he is just answerable to the owner. So he is obligated to owner. He is not answerable to any other person at the site. So coming to the documentation, as a site engineer or as a site person, as a construction engineer, you will be encountered or you will be seeing many documents at site. I gonna take you through a PDF too, which will give you a detailed description of all the documents that we use at the site. But so these are the five major documents that we require for the site, and probably will be given a question related to RFI, if not any other four of these, and all the other documents that we're gonna discuss within few minutes from now. They are low rated, but please understand them. There is a chance of getting question from that corner too. But these are the documents from which the questions got repeated with good number of times. Okay. Whereas submittals, it involves the submittals of drawing submittals, and it involves the submittals of material submittal as well. So for a design bid build project or a design build project, what a contractor gonna do is that he designs or he develops a drawing as per the concept drawing what he got. Later on, developing the drawing, it has to be submitted for a review. After submitting that particular drawing for review, engineer has to approve it and he has to drop it his comments, and it will be further taken to the next level, which is called the client level. So whatever the document that is raised from the contractor, it has to pass all the three persons or all the three parties within the project, and it has to come down to the contractor with the written comments on it. Similarly, the change orders, RFI, MIR, and WIR too. I believe you are familiar with these terms. And few candidates who are not prone to the construction, they might not know what exactly is request for information. It is that you got two different drawings for two different locations. So let us say, as in the given example, at the interface of park area and swimming pool, the slope is not matching. First, suppose this is the pool area and this is the adjacent park area. What the designer does is he designs pool area one day and he designs the park area second day. So when he designed these two things on two different days, there might be a collision or there might be a slope difference when designing these two areas. He or she, they won't realize while making the drawing, but later on while it comes to the part of execution as a construction engineer or a construction manager, you will come to an analyzation that the slopes are not matching at the site. When it is not matching a practical scenario, at the time a contractor has a right to raise a request for information stating that the slope is not matching its site. Okay. So a contractor, he raises a form called request for information to the client. So with certain subject and with certain description saying that any change in the quantities may have certain cost and time impact. And also the description, they give the location. So what happens is engineer, they undergoes with the description and subject along with the location drawing. They will put on their remarks saying that this is the excess quantity of material and this will be the cost impact. It could be a negative cost impact or it could be a positive cost impact. Whatever it is, they're going to put their remarks. And later on, it is the client's call to decide it. So if it is a must and should thing, he has to accept it. So there will be some sort of communication or there will be some sort of agreements in between client and contractor saying that I will favor you as a client. I may say that I will favor you in the upcoming project or upcoming aspect. So please do this thing free of cost for me. So that depends upon the commitment or agreement in between the client and consultant. But this is how the process runs. And whereas coming to change order is almost the same. The difference between change order and RFI is RFI originates from the contractor. If a contractor observes some sort of discrepancy or some change in the site, a contractor raises RFI. Whereas change order, it comes from the client directly. For suppose, as a owner, I just decided to construct a swimming pool in my backyard. But later on, I may think that due to the existing environment or due to the existing surroundings by my house, I may think that my swimming pool may get polluted. And I would like to cover my swimming pool along with the construction. But the covering of swimming pool with a cover is not decided by me during the start of the project. So a change order is basically comes from a owner if owner thinks that they require some change in the project. So I hope the difference is clear, right? Change order it originates from owner basically, whereas RFI it originates from contractor. Anyhow, the concept of addressing is same. Even the change order will be having the schedule and cost and time impact. So does the RFI too, but RFI is raised from contractor side. And coming to material inspection requests, work inspection request, all the projects may not require material inspection requests. That is subjected to the pre-approval. For certain projects, the supplier is pre-approved. If the supplier is pre-approved, then what does the engineer do? Engineer will just check the receipts that will come to the site. That should be enough. When the supplier is not pre-approved, then that is the case. Contractor has to raise for the material inspection request and the material has to get approved. So I'm just letting you know because these kind of general knowledge questions will be asked in your exam. So, but for the subject of construction engineering exam, though it is not mentioned in the handbook, if you sit for a while, you will be able to answer the question. All the questions will be general. Okay. Similarly, the work inspection request as well. And I believe everyone is much aware of the work inspection request. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna raise a work inspection request to an engineer saying that I completed this so and so activity in so and so location. Please come and check on the site to in order to approve the work which I did on the site. And accordingly, engineer or consultants will be at the site the next day in order to check the work that contractor did on the site. Okay, and please go through this terminology whenever you get a free time later on. Job order is the confirmation that is given to a contractor that he or she or a contractor is assigned with so and so task. Indemnify, it means that compensate for harm or loss. So as a contractor, you are prone to certain harm or loss which is not foreseen by a contractor, and this certain harm or loss will be compensated by owner. So like be it for any natural cause. So if you're preserving some material within the site and if it is theft by someone, so because of some reason, why? Because the contractor is not staying at the site 24 by 7, but owner for certain projects, owner is liable or responsible for the protection and security purpose. In that case, if contractor loses a material, the owner has to compensate. If not, if the contractor got certain insurance, then it will be claimed through insurance accordingly. Whatever it is, the concept of compensating for certain harm or loss is called as indemnify or indemnification. And contingency, it is adding buffer for unexpected expenses. It comes under the concept of estimation. A QS is well aware of this word. Whatever the project you quote or bid, what you do is you put on some contingency charges worth of 10 to 15 percentage for every project. So why? Because all the activities are not under control. Sometimes they go out of the hand, and some activities will be done twice or thrice. But actually, the bidding or the project budget will be assigned for a single time task, not for the twice or thrice. So we cannot put that we are doing an activity twice or thrice. So they have to go for a single time budget, and hence you will go for the concept called contingency, adding some buffer for unexpected expenses. Dummy activities, and this particular word will be used in your activity relationships where you will be entitled to go with a representation of certain activity within your activity diagram, but it does not have it does not have any duration waiting for it, like how I can say. So what I mean to say is that, so waiting for concrete, or waiting for steel material delivery on site, it it does not actually cause certain duration, but that particular activity do certainly impacts the project activity. So such kind of activity which does not have a durational aspect, that particular activity may not have durational aspect, but it does impact the duration of the project, is called as a dummy activity. And coming to long lead items, for every project, or for most of the projects, you can anticipate long lead items, or you can expect certain long lead items. What is the long lead item refers to is that the manufacturing of that particular product or that particular thing may take too much time. We know that we are hearing some sort of disturbance from you.
I may not have an option for that. Huh? I don't have an option for that.
Excuse me, Vinod.
Why? Is he having? Fuck. So can I back it?
All right, okay. So long lead items. I'm saying we are discussing about long lead items. So it refers to certain item or a product. It takes too much time in getting the manufacturing done. For example, if you consider an item called a barbecue stone, or some projects like or items like pergola, so they take too much time in getting the manufacturing done. Why? Because it is not a same item for every project, right? It is not a same item. So the manufacturer has to customize that items. So customized items, whatever the customized items that is not existing in the market, or it has to be manufactured according to the contractor's requirement, those items may definitely take long time to produce, and it should not impact the duration of the project. Accordingly, you will order those products well in advance. Such items are called as long lead items. Okay. Whereas coming to defects liability period, so after the termination or after the completion of every activity, let's suppose a contractor completed certain area, an ad area or a park area, within a within a period of 1 year construction, and after 1 year construction, and after a period of 1 year construction, a contractor is liable for one more year for that particular area of work. So whatever the problems, or whatever the rectification works that a owner faces after 1 year completion of work, the contractor has to do at free of cost. That particular period is called as defect liability period, and usually it is given as extra 1 year. And some, for certain projects it will be like just 1 month, or for certain projects it will be 6 months, and for certain projects it will be 10 years. Like if it is a project owned by a central government, it will be like 10 years. Okay, I will give you an example. For suppose a contractor named L&T, they go with the project of highway construction, and after the highway construction, what happens is the contractor will be given all the toll amount to himself for a period of 10 years. And within the period of 10 years, if the highway faces or if the highway undergone any sort of problems or repair work, they have to do those repair works at the free of cost. So it depends on the project to project, and it depends on the contract that lies in between the owner and the contractor. And defect liability period varies accordingly. Usually, as I said, that's a period where contractor is obliged to do repair works at free of cost. Are we good on this terminology? You can stop me if anyone got any doubt. If not, I'm moving on to the next page.
Yeah, you go.
This time we can
All
attach.
right.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
have one doubt.
Yes, please.
Yeah, like last you said like the owner want to take care about all the stuff regarding the cost, right?
Second one, I'll take.
Mhm.
So the material cost, or the owner want to bear the material cost, or the construct like a contractor. I have few doubts.
It depends on the contract. It depends on the project delivery method that it is assigned. So let us suppose if it is just manpower contract, you know what I mean. So the contractor has to get the manpower from himself and he has to do. That depends on the project what it is assigned to the contractor. Okay. Let us suppose I'm a owner for my house construction, or I'm a owner for my ad construction. What I do is I got my own connections for the material supply from my end. So rather than giving the material contract to the contractor, I would like to get the material by myself by choosing the prime quality of the material. I'm gonna get all the required materials to the site by myself, be it sand, cement, or steel, or whatsoever. I'm gonna get material by myself as a owner. And what the contractor has to do is he has to engage the labor and he has to make sure the work quality is fine. And as I said, that depends upon the procurement method, and that depends upon the project delivery method that is interconnected between the owner and the contractor. If if owner may think that, oh, why should I take the headache of the material, then he may assign it to the contractor. Let it be the contractor's headache. Uh, you know what I mean? You understand what I say?
Exactly, I got it.
Okay. For example, let us take the concept of VIP movie. So I believe you have gone through the VIP movie, part one. What happens in part one? It is a design build project where, as a contractor, Raghuvaran, he designs the project, he builds the project by himself, where he has to get all the material by himself. He goes to certain material suppliers, he'll get all the material by himself, and he does it, isn't it? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And coming to the second case, the movie called Srimantudu. Srimantudu, what happens is a movie character, a hero character called Harsha. What he does, he's the owner. He got the material by himself, and he got a contractor who has to do the job for himself. So in the second case, it is as you said now, and whereas in the first case, it is completely opposite. Hope it is clear for you.
Yeah.
All right. Still any doubts on the page? All right. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Please hold me if you got any. Okay. So this particular example we just discussed, but please go through this question. I believe you can answer this. The change order in an ongoing construction project is usually awarded to
Owner.
whom the change.
The
Sorry,
owner of the project.
no, it's not awards. It's not
Awarded.
awards by. If it is awards by, then
Okay. Got it.
it is owner.
Project
Contractor.
manager.
Contractor responsible for the original one.
Okay.
Subcontractor.
Contractor responsible for the
Yeah,
original work.
awarded to
Yeah.
contractor.
Yes, awarded to contractor and awards by
Awarded
owner.
owner. Yeah.
Okay. And so, though the swimming pool work is given by a contractor to a subcontractor, but the change order goes to the general contractor, not the subcontractor. Why? Because subcontractor and contractor, they will be having some other terms of agreement in between themselves, so that price is not to be decided by the owner, and hence whatever the change order that happens within the site will be usually awarded to the contractor, whereas it is not to the project manager and it is not to the owner. Owner himself, they awards the project. Okay, hence B is the answer for this question. And moving to the next page. So what does the change order typically modify?
The
C.
project scope, cost, and schedule.
Yes, so it it can change all the three aspects, right? So
Yes.
let us move to the previous slide. Actually, getting the cover to this particular area is not the scope of a contractor, but after getting the change order, the scope of the project is getting extra. So there is a chance for the scope to get increased. Also, getting this particular product impacts the cost of the project and also the manufacturing thing. Why? Because the swimming pool may get its own dimensions and we have to go for a special manufacturing thing. So definitely it gonna impact the end time as well. C is the right answer for this. And why not the project's risk management plan? Why not the risk management plan?
The risk
Why?
management
Because
plan is for the cost mitigation and other related queries which are raised by the clients and the consultant. So it's not with the risk management plan. That's the
exactly.
reason we choose for the scope, cost, and schedule.
Yeah, yes. And the risk management plan, in addition to that, it also covers a plan that the worker should not be affected at site due to so and so reason. So, as the other guy said, it doesn't affect the risk management plan. Okay. And also the project quality plan. The project quality plan, it remains the same. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. Before answering this question, I'd like to take you to the PDF document or the document which I shared with you so that it will be easier for you to answer that. Okay. So you need not to remember all these things, but you have to understand all these things. Okay. Project charter or project chart, we can simply say. So this is a chart or a name board which is stick outside of the project, which says all the parties like contractor, client, and a consultant.
Oh, we cannot
So
see the
by
PDF.
putting, oh, you cannot see the PDF. My bad. Excuse me for that, but thanks for letting me know. All right. Can you see the PDF now?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So coming to the project charter, it involves all the three parties involved in the contract or a project. It is displayed outside of the project, stating that a certain contractor is doing this thing. Whenever you're passing on the streets or roads, you see saying the hoardings or the name boards placed outside. That is what the project chat or project chatter refers to. And coming to the scope statement, it is the detailed description of the project deliverables, boundaries, and objects. Okay, and project plan. So it is a basic plan of the project, how the project is executed. If you look at the term, you will understand what exactly it is. Schedule is like how many days you require for certain activity. And coming to the budget, Budget is the concept of a contractor. Contractor will be having certain budget for each and every activity and for each and every allocation of resources for the particular project. Whereas coming to the concept of risk register, the risk register for every project, it will come with certain risks. And not only that, while the execution of project is under process, there will be some other risks which are added on to the existing risks. Okay, for example, as a contractor, you are constructing a building by the side of seashore. So what do you expect as a contractor? You may expect that there will be some water rising from the groundwater table. Why? Because it is just by the side of seawater shore, and you will do shoring. You will be prepared for the water termination or water removal for the excess water that is coming to the foundation, and you will be prepared for the wind pressures too. But what happens is, so we will be having some other risks, saying that due to the more humidity or though you are removing water, you will be seeing more water coming into your foundation excavation. At that time, you have to take care or you have to prevent the water coming into your scope of work area by preventing it, by stopping it from some other location. Okay, I'll give you an example here. I'll try to draw here. Okay, consider this line as a seashore and water is coming from this direction. Whereas this is your project site. You decided to do the shoring here. Okay, though you did the shoring here, there is surplus of water in your plot limit. Doing shoring is not good enough here. So what you do is you will do another line of shoring here. So the water has to pass two layers of shoring. But considering the initial risk, you just did the first layer. You know what I mean, right? So what I mean to say is that there will be certain risks which are identified at the initial stage of contract, but later on the risks will be added more to that. And not only that, you don't take the concept of health, the workers health into account for this. And also, since it is very near to the seashore, so they may get affected by cold, and cold, it will be a contaminated disease. It is a contaminated disease. Apparently there will be slowdown in your progress of work, and you have to take this risk into your accounts too, which will delay the project, which will delay the schedule of work too. And hence I say the risk register, it keeps on updating, whereas stakeholder register, it almost remains same from starting to ending. And what does a stakeholder represents to? It represents to all the parties those are included within a stakeholder, I mean within the project, and each and everyone's responsibilities and roles is given in that particular register. A client is oblique to, what does a client oblique to, and what does an engineer oblique to? Similarly, what the contractor has to do on their site. Change order, we already discussed about it. Status report, as a site engineer or inspector, you have to update the report of the site end of the day to your next level boss or the management. Work breakdown structure. So the concept of work breakdown structure, you see it if you undergo the Primavera, and not only that, it is very much applicable in your day-to-day knowledge or day-to-day site activities. Why? Because construction of certain activity or construction of a playground will be the overall target of the owner. But that construction of playground has to undergo many activities, like it has to undergo, first it has to undergo surveying, later on you have to do subgrade preparation, followed by sub-base preparation, next level of base preparation, and the final layer is concrete. And concrete may involve the reinforcement as well. On top of concrete, you have to do some acrylic painting too. So though the overall target is to build a playground, but that particular work has to be break down into all these steps, and a contractor has to decide for each and every activity how many days he has to arrange for it and how accordingly he has to do it. So that's the concept of work breakdown structure. Minutes of meeting. So whoever does in the site, they know the minutes of meeting. So whatever the meeting that happens in between all the parties, it has to be recorded on a paper, or it has to be documented very sharp in such a way that none of the parties should say that I told this thing in the past, but you are not committed to this. Like a contractor may say that a contractor may say that I already informed contractor. No, a client may say that he already informed contractor to do a particular activity for free of cost. But so it's like cheating, or it's like the fraud activity that may happen when money comes into the account. So minutes of meeting has to be recorded for sure, whatever the meeting that happens. So as a site guy, you will be prone to this, or you will be seeing this activity very frequently. Coming to quality plan, so the quality plan involves the concept of quality check by QA and QC for a site on a regular basis, be it periodical, on a daily basis, or weekly basis. That depends on the plan that you assign to yourself. And coming to the procurement plan, so as a contractor has to submit a procurement plan to the client saying that my materials comes on so date. Unlike the regular material like road base or the aggregates or concrete, steel, we need not to give a procurement plan for these things, but we have to give procurement plan for certain single things like whenever the paving material lot comes to the site, or if there is any material like your tanks, your underground tanks, or any item or customized item. So a contractor have to give must and should procurement plan or procurement of those goods to the site. That is what procurement plan goes to. And coming to the project baseline, for each and every duration, or for each and every timely duration, like for by the end of first week I'll complete this activity, and by the end of first month I will complete this activity. That is the baseline of the activities. Issue log, similar to risk register, issue log is one other thing. Project closure report, this is the ending report of a project, that it will include all the terms like the as-built drawing. So while coming to this thing, as-built drawing is something built at the end or designed at the end. So like, so for suppose, right, the first drawing, as we discussed in change
Excuse me.
order. Yes, please.
May I know what's the difference between the risk register and issue log?
So you know what is log, right? So log is simply the Excel where you will describe all the items. Okay. And if it is approved, you will say yes. If it is not approved, you will say no. There is a
Got it.
log called NCR log, which is non-conformance report log. Okay. This is actually maintained by engineer. What does an engineer do? If he comes to site, if he sees something which is not in compliance with the drawing, let us suppose for a particular area, a contractor is obliged to do 8 inches of concrete, but in the place of 8 inches of concrete, he just did 6 inches of concrete, which is an issue at the site. But it is not risk, it is an issue. Whereas risk comes to that, it will be a hazard to some people while construction or after construction. Coming to issue, it does not have an immediate impact on the personnel who are working on the site, but it may have the long run impact. And risk register is maintained by the contractor, whereas issue log is maintained by the engineer for the non-compliance of activities. He will give the non-compliance to the contractor, and contractor has to act on it. So when in the place of 8 inches, if he does 6 inches, he has to comply for the extra 2 inches by doing some other extra rapid setting cement concrete, or he has to give, or he has to take the liability or responsibility of that particular thing, which is called as a issue log. And in the issue log, you're going to see the repeatance of activities too. I mean, how many times a contractor is repeating this particular thing. And not only that, they have to maintain the resolution status too. Like if a non-conformance is issued to a contractor, within what duration this particular thing is resolved. It's same like your change order and request for information kind of stuff. Though they are similar to each other, those two things are generated from two different parties. Is this clear?
Yes, it's clear. Thank you.
Alright. Okay. And one other term for issue log is non-conformance log. But log is a list of items where you list all these things. Okay. And as I'm saying, you need not remember this, but you have to understand these things. That's it. And coming to bill of quantities, it is just the quantity versus price that you notice at a single document. Coming to bid is usually done by the contractor to get a certain project. Blueprint is the first drawing or the first concept drawing that is prepared. Change order, we need not to discuss much on it. Coming to the punch list is usually given by a owner or an engineer at the end of the project saying that there are defects or problems in the work completed. So what does everyone do? What does engineer do? After completion of the project, engineer awards or engineer provides a list of problems to a contractor to act on them. And contractor has to act on them without any extra cost, which is called as a punch list. Okay. Field report, which is generated by a site engineer. Scope of work we already discussed. So does schedule to variance. It comes to the concept of schedule variance, and also it comes to the concept of cost variance. So if there is any provision or if there is any addition of work in the project, then there will be variance. And if something is removed from the project, similarly, it will be having negative variance in terms of cost and schedule as well. Specifications for each and every site, there will be some sort of specifications. It will not be the same for each and every area. Like, for example, let us consider the two different states, which is in the northeastern state and southwestern side. Like, so in a place like northeastern state, which is New York or New Jersey, we this area is much affected or much prone to the cold climate. And the hot cities or hot places like Texas, it is completely it is completely different over there. Like, the groundwater table in the states like New York, it is much nearer to the ground surface. And not only that, in the seasons of winter, the water lying in the initial layers of the earth, it gets frozen. So the type of construction that you follow in these states and the type of construction that you follow in those states, it varies. And hence the specification for each and every project depends on the location and type of material availability, it varies. Okay. So coming to inspection, it is just the supervision or examining construction work, whether it is in compliance with the design things or drawings. Okay, now I'm taking you to the presentation screen.
Mm.
You can see the presentation screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe you can answer this question.
Stakeholder register.
Yes, so the answer is stakeholder register. Let us revise the question once again. Which document outlines the roles and responsibilities of project stakeholders? So, stakeholders, it involves all the parties. Simply remember like C, C, and C. So, first C is client, and the second one is consultant, and the third one is contractor. So, what all these three personnel has to do is listed in your stakeholder register. Okay, it's not in risk register, not in the project plan, nor in the scope statement. The best suited answer is stakeholder register. Okay. Who issues the punch list usually?
Owners.
Engineer.
Okay.
Engineer.
Let us consider any other answers.
Engineer,
Engineer. Okay.
C, general
So
contractor.
okay. Oh, impressive.
And
So we
owner.
got three options. Any other? Let's discuss one by one. Okay. So punch list, it means the list of problems. Okay. Okay. Why does a contractor issues a list of problems to himself? Why? Because if there are list of problems, a contractor has to act on it. So a contractor do not issue a list of problems to himself. If contractor is supposed to list some problems to himself, then definitely he do not list any problem. Why? Because he has to act on it after those problems listed to himself. So general contractor should not be an answer. Okay. It could be either engineer or owner. Why? Because these two guys have to make sure that the construction activity on the site is up to the mark. But all the projects may not have engineer, but all the projects do have owner. In generally, punch list is not given by owner. It is given by engineer. Okay, let us consider the examples. So, as a owner, I may not have the knowledge on the project what is happening, but I know the requirement what I want. As we are discussing on the same example, like as a owner, I know that I need a house for myself to stay peacefully. As a contractor can do many mistakes, like they can mislead a owner saying that the quality of material what the contractor is using is good, but the owner do not know the quality of material or the quality standards followed by a contractor. That is the reason he is hiring an engineer. And owner, they generally doesn't issue a list of problems to a contractor. It is generally issued by engineer. Okay. If owner is having appropriate knowledge about the outcome, then he may issue the list of punches like in a design build project. Other than design build project, other than design build project, it will be an engineer who usually who usually issues the punch list. And this is the general representation of a punch list where the project title and the list of stakeholders like contractor and the client and the consultant will be in the title of punch list. The description of the item, they give the location, the snack picture, like what is the problem in that particular location or the defect thing. And after rectification, a contractor has to upload the D-snack picture and close the punch list accordingly. I hope we are good on this question too.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. And we discuss this thing too. Take a while, understand the question and options to come out with the best possible option. So, what's the answer? What is a long lead item?
C.
C.
C and C.
Okay, I had answer C, and what's the other option? Okay, C. Let us see one by one. A long lead item which takes longer duration, and it is not a regular item. It is generally a customized item. Okay, if it is a customized item, it doesn't come quickly. Why? Because manufacturer has to change their molds or manufacturer has to take a special attention on it since it is a long lead item. I mean, since it is a special item, hence they do not produce it very frequently. And it does not take short manufacturing time. It takes larger manufacturing time. You have to submit the design details or the drawing details to the manufacturer. Later on, he have to engage a crew and he has to change all his equipment things in accordance with it. Coming to the option C, a material or a component requiring an extended time for procurement of manufacturing could delay the project if not ordered early. And I'll give you an example for a long lead item. Like a contractor in my site, an electrical contractor in my site, they are getting some equipment from Ukraine, which is electrical equipment, and which is produced only in Ukraine from years. So my contractor is not, he didn't expect that the war in between, and now we struck in between a project for that particular equipment, which is supposed to come from Ukraine. We ordered for that particular product starting of the project a year back, but still we didn't get that item. So it is because a special item or a special equipment we require at site, we are getting it from the other place since it is not available here, and also it is considered as a long lead item. Usually he is supposed to, or as per the contract terms, he is supposed to order it little prior than he did order, but he ordered it little late, and later on there is certain things which are not foreseen, and there is a delay in the project now. So if you do not order this particular product or particular thing on time, then apparently there will be some delay. And sometimes though you order it on time, there will be delay because of lack of material or something like that. So, and also we expected these kind of things during the time of COVID, especially if it is a not locally available material or thing, if it has to come from out of the borders, then long lead item gonna be paying to a contractor or to the project management to complete certain activity. Okay, so we are done with the time. Any questions for the day?
No, we are good now.
All right, then we'll see in tomorrow's session. Please go through all the things. Sorry.
Yeah, like a recording is going to post on the Bonum C2C app.
Yes, yes, definitely you will get in the application. You may get it few hours later, but eventually you will get it. And also I will share the PDF so far we discussed. But I mean the PDF what we discussed so far, or the session what we discussed so far, we're gonna drop this PDF to you in the application as well. And I insist you guys to go through this PDF once again. Why? Because this is a subject which is very easy, which will be given, the questions you may see, which will be given out of the general knowledge or general civil engineering knowledge. You may not see data related to this particular subject within the handbook, but I'm saying you may get 3 to 4 questions very easily out of your knowledge, but not from the handbook. This is the subject. Please go through them, pay some time, and you're gonna get good weightage from this subject. See you all in next session tomorrow.